Hey there. Welcome to the Movie Cocktail Lounge, our very first episode. And it's a double celebration. Not only is it the very first episode, but today my wife and I did a lot of yard work, and she was kind of tired and wiped out. So when I asked her to make me one of her famous Bloody Marys, she walked me through the process. So now I know how to make one of her Bloody Marys, and it's way good. So, anyways, grab yourself a cocktail, and we'll do some chat tonight. Yummy. My name is Shawn Michaels. How do you do? I am not the legendary WWE superstar Shawn Michaels, the Heartbreak Kid. I do not have the skill set for that job as much as I wish I did. I am also not Shawn Michaels, the adult film star. He is about 6'3", built like Rambo in his best days, and African American. Not me, but I like to think I have the skill set to do his job. So, anyway, I was talking with some coworkers the other day. We were talking about what's the first movie you remember seeing, and I kept giving this more and more thought, and I was like, what was the first movie I saw in the theater? That's the main thing here. So I started actually went online and I started looking year by year, starting in 1967 when I was born, dating myself there, and I started going year by year to see what was the first movie I remember seeing in a theater. 1972. I was 5 years old. Um, I think this was it. It was called This Is Cinerama. And for those of you that don't know what Cinerama is, it was the predecessor to super widescreen Panavision. Holy smoke, look at that. That looks good. Um, you actually had to go to a theater that was hooked up for it. The first thing you had was a giant, massive, curved screen. Okay. And then in the projectionist booth, you had three cameras that are hooked up simultaneously to project this super wide image of what you were going to watch. Now, Cinerama came out in the 50s. I don't know. Check it for me if you want. In 1972, they did a re release of This Is Cinerama, the movie that was to give you a taste of what it was all about. And it was more or less, there was no plot or nothing. It was more like a travelogue, okay? You actually like went down to Florida and you were in the Everglades watching people water skiing. Then you flew over the Grand Canyon and everything was seen in widescreen, and you were like, "Oh, look at this really boring movie, but it looks so good." So that was something to see, and it would later go on to be used in many movies. Most famously, or not most famously, but it's a Mad, 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 Mad World. It was used for. The later variation was used for 2001: A Space Odyssey, and it eventually became pretty much Panavision, if I remember my movie history correctly. If not, it could be the alcohol. So that was the first movie I saw. Was in 1972, 5 years old, and it was about 1975. I'm checking my notes here, my research. 1975 was when my family started taking me to the movies on a regular basis. Of course, being a kid, 70s, it was all Disney movies. You know, I was a kid, but I was 8 years old. You know, Escape from Witch Mountain, the whole family went to see that. That was a freaking night out. We all dressed up to go to the theater, to a theater that only showed one movie, right? We'll talk about the old days some other time. I remember seeing Blackbeard's Ghost, Disney. That was pretty cool. In 1975, I was 8 years old, and my parents took me to see Jaws. That screwed me up. That's a topic for another day. The movies that screwed you up as a kid. But it was pretty cool going back and trying to figure out exactly what was the first damn movie I saw, because back then, you you didn't have DVDs, you didn't have Blu-ray, you didn't have streaming services, you didn't have 8 million channels to choose from. You had movie theaters that played movies, and you had television. In television, you had CBS, you had NBC and ABC. You had Channel 9 out of Canada, Michigan Boy. Okay, that's what I'm referencing. And you had your syndicated channels like 20 and 50 that played all the old John Wayne movies, Tarzan movies, and horror movies, of course. So, every Sunday morning, Sunday paper arrived, I would grab the TV guide and go through it religiously. to find movies and what I wanted to watch, because back then, no VCRs either at the time. So if you wanted to watch a movie, you had to sit your butt down in front of the TV at that specific time of day in order to catch it. Otherwise, you were screwed. And if it was a big movie that everybody in your class at school was going to see and you didn't see it, you were not cool, my friend. You were not cool. But it is interesting to look back at your first experience, because now, I mean, like I said, streaming channels up the wazoo. You have all these apps for your Fire Stick or your Roku or whatever you like to use. So it's very easy to see a movie now. Back in my day, it wasn't that easy, but it still was a lot of fun. So anyways, just wanted to share that with you. A little bit of my past I'd share with you here on our very first episode. I have loads of friends. I'm going to be rotating through this show. We're all movie buffs. We love buffs. I actually have a couple Hollywood writers that are friends of mine. That's my claim to fame, right? Yeah, ooh, ah. And we'll be chatting with them, but love to talk about movies. You know, if you want to throw in the comments section the first movie you remember seeing in a theater, that's the thing, in the theater, you know. Throw it in there, you know. Why not, you know? I love to talk about movies. I love to drink. Hope you do too. So when we do this stuff, hope you want to check in and have some fun. Throw some questions at me, whatever you want. Make some requests. If there are some requests I will do, other ones I will not do on camera. So have yourself a good night. It was good to have you here. I hope this continues. And I'm going to go finish my drink. Have yourself a wonderful night.